Welcome to the Shintaido of America podcast. Shintaido is an amazing form of health exercise and body movement practice, inspired by martial arts, a non-combative training system for mind and body invented by Japanese martial artists in the 1960s. Shintaido can be a way to open up to a deeper connection with ourselves, with our community, and with nature. In Season 1 of the podcast, I'll be reading from the book Shintaido, The Body is a Message of the Universe, by the founder of Shintaido, Hiroyuki Aoki. You can find links to this podcast, sign up for our free email newsletter, and find many other resources at our website, www.shintaido.org. That's www.shintaido.org. Hi, welcome to Episode 10 of the Shintaido of America podcast. I'm Shintaido instructor David Franklin. In many traditional martial arts, there was a form, a kata, a nugget of essential knowledge of the discipline, which was kept as a secret, known only to the select few. But what if that form is also a work of art, meant to be shared with the world? Tenshin Gosu, the 5 breaths of cosmic reality, is one of the 3 fundamental forms of Shintaido. In Aoki's words, Tenshingoso intends to simulate, quote, the cycle of a human life and even the rhythm of the cosmos, close quote. And anyone who practices Shintaido may start learning it during the first lesson. This is the origin story of Tenshingoso, how it was invented, how it was tested and developed, and, as Thomas Edison might put it, it is literally a story of 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. Okay, ready? Here we go. Part 1, Chapter 2, Section 8, Tenshingoso, an embodiment of the hidden cosmic breath. During that time, when I was developing the hand positions described in Episode 9 of the podcast, although it seemed it was almost impossible, I had the idea and worked towards creating a short, easy kata, a form or sequence of movements, which would include the essence of all that I had studied and, at the same time, would fulfill all the requirements of traditional Budo or martial arts. I wanted this kata to be a consolidation of all the traditional movements, forms, and techniques that had been handed down as secret texts, so that they would be available to everyone, even amateurs. As my ambitions for this kata grew, I also wanted to bring together all that I had studied in shiatsu massage, health exercises, meditation, and certain esoteric training. The process I envisioned might have been similar to the complex synthesis of many chemicals that produce plastic from petroleum. I wanted a crystallization of the secret movements of the martial arts, not only for the benefit of the martial arts, but for all the reasons I described in the first chapter. And perhaps most important, since I am absent-minded, I wanted this kata to be a readily available catalog and reference book of all the secret techniques that I had learned up to that time. In response to this configuration of demands, a kata consisting of what might turn out to be 8 or 10 different attack and defense movements gradually took shape. Although this kata, as a synthesis of martial arts technique, was created for largely pragmatic reasons, as an embodiment and expression of the common Tao of many different disciplines, it simulates the cycle of a human life and even the rhythm of the cosmos. It moves from nothingness through birth and awakening, growth, trust and openness, adoration and expression, coherence and consolidation, exploration, control and responsibility, justice and discipline, hope and aspiration, fruition, forgiveness and acceptance, offering and blessing, and returns to the original state of nothingness. As we repeat this cycle, the forms seem to symbolize the above kinds of mind or spirit, or kokoro, meaning both heart and mind in Japanese. When we practice this kata, we make the vowel sounds a, e, o, and un as loudly as possible, concentrating our focus on a distant horizon and opening our hands as wide as possible. As this form is carried out, very strong and unimagined results begin to manifest themselves. This kata can be completed in less than a few minutes, and yet in that time we can reach a state of peace and well-being. Nevertheless, it still took time to put this kata through a rigorous test period before placing it at the center of the Shintaido program. There are 10 attributes or aims of this kata which I would like to specify. 1. As the center and basic technique of our discipline, the kata contains a universality in clear, simple forms which encompass and express a deep and complex philosophy. 2. This kata is easily enjoyed by the weak as well as the strong, regardless of nationality, sex, or age. 3. The kata can be practiced alone or with 2 or more people and can be performed anywhere. 4. This kata is an antidote for our body to the routine discouragements and small illnesses of our daily life. 5. This kata contains and supports the whole world of Shintaido and is a means for divining our future course. 6. This kata demands a wideness of character and a depth of concentration and intensity. 7. This kata teaches us to focus our spirit on an infinite horizon. 8. Routine practice of this kata will result in a bright, well-rounded character. 9. This kata is not an artificial fruit. It expresses the sensitivity of life and the truth of being, which are found in the works and movements of artists in every age. 10. Before I presented this kata to the public, it was examined and weighed in the light of all classical movements, including the traditional martial arts, and was finally selected as the long sought-after nugget. In April 1965, as the answer to all these conditions, this kata appeared to us in its final radiant form as Tenshingoso, literally translatable as 5 expressions of cosmic truth. Tenshingoso could not have come into existence without the demanding but kind suggestions of Mr. Shigeru Egami, my former teacher, and the modern architect of contemporary karate-do in Japan. He also introduced me to the practice of Shinwa Taido, developed by Mr. Hoken Inoue, who is considered by many martial artists as an unofficial living national treasure. I called our movement Shintaido, New Body Way, for its universality, brightness, and simplicity. But perhaps I was also influenced by the name Shinwa Taido, which means physical study of peace and unity. Later, Tenshingoso developed, and we were able to discover and arrange many variations of the movement. For example, by oneself while walking, or in kumite with a partner, holding each other's wrists. We also arranged the order of the movements into different sequences and used different eye directions. By placing Tenshingoso and Eiko, described in the next chapter, at the center of the Shintaido program and applying them, the fundamental techniques of Toitsukihon and its variations came into being. In a similar manner, new styles of karate, bojitsu, practice with a long staff, jojitsu, practice with a short staff, jujitsu, kenjutsu, sword training, and naginata, a long-handled sword used mainly by women during the Edo period, were created without deviating from the basic principles of Tenshingoso and Eiko. In the ancient Ito-ryu school of martial arts, there was a great secret technique known as Seijo Reiken, which means Sword of the Holy Spirit. It was expected by many, including several of my own students, that I would follow the tradition of secret techniques and keep Tenshingoso as the inner secret of Shintaido. My understanding and aim, however, were different from the point of view of traditional Budo or ancient martial arts, and I wanted to make Tenshingoso available to everyone. You've been listening to Episode 10 of the Shintaido of America podcast, a reading from the book Shintaido, The Body is a Message of the Universe, by Hiroyuki Aoki. If you enjoyed today's podcast, the most important thing you can do to help is to tell people about us. Share the podcast on your social media and give us a good rating on whatever platform you're using to listen to this. Shintaido of America is a member-supported nonprofit organization, and there are many ways to support our truly micro-budget production of educational materials. And I really mean that. We produce a huge amount of content on volunteer power, but some things just require a few bucks in the bank. So make a donation or become a member of Shintaido of America. You can do that, sign up for our free email newsletter, and also find all kinds of free educational resources at our website, www.shintaido.org. That's whiskey.Sierra Hotel India November Tango Alpha India Delta Oscar Romeo Golf. You can also find us on Instagram, on Facebook, and on YouTube by searching for Shintaido of America, and our email address is podcast@shintaido.org. Our episode today was recorded and edited by me, David Franklin, with support from Sarah Baker, Connie Borden, Teresa Soldatova, Jim Sterling, the Joe Zawilski Memorial Fund, and of course, the members of Shintaido of America. Thank you. Thanks for listening to the Shintaido of America podcast. I'm Shintaido instructor David Franklin. Contents of this podcast, copyright Shintaido of America 2022. Shintaido, opening to life.